Barbados' East Coast suffered tremendous damage following the passage of Hurricane Elsa. In this program, we'll take you to some of the spots that suffered the most damage and learn how the Coastal Zone Management Unit intends to remedy the situation. Since the hurricane's passage on July 2nd, 2021, the stretch from Cattle Wash, St. Joseph, straight up to the Choice tell the tale of not just the hurricane's impact, but also the effects of climate change.
Since the passage of Hurricane Elsa, one of the main concerns of the Coastal Zone Management Unit has been the issue of visible evidence of storm surge damage along the coastline. And it is best exemplified on the East Coast, which took a large brunt of the wave attack during the passage of Elsa.
We begin the journey at Cattle Wash, where the CZMU director highlighted exposed beach rock as one of the main concerns.
Beach rock is the foundation of the beach. It is the ultimate base of any beach. Once you see beach rock, that shows the extent of erosion that has occurred. That's the hard pavement, in essence, under the beach that is naturally created over time. Right? And it's just occurring all the way along the East Coast now. All the way along. What we're starting to see here is the formation of the beach rock of the area in front of Barclays Park Beach Facility. As the water recedes, you see the channelets, or the areas that look as if there's channels for water to run out. Those become the weak points where sand will start to make its way offshore as the water recedes back every backflow.
This loss of sand from the beach at the East Coast has also reduced the height of the beach.
Of greatest concern for us too is the flattening of the entire East Coast. As you look down, you will see that the beach itself has lost height. In its essence, it's lost almost 2 feet in height in some areas or more. And where you encounter what we will call the blowouts or the washout points from the road drains, they have also done a major amount of scouring to the beach as well. And the unfortunate reality with the East Coast is that it has a very short shelf. In essence, the near shore area goes off flat to gently sloping, and then it drops off very deep, and it's less than half a kilometer before it drops into the deep. So therefore, once this sand is lost, it's permanently lost. It just goes into the abyss. And it therefore will not return back as you would find on the west coast or the south coast of the island.
The heavy presence of the sargassum seaweed on the beach is also making an already bad situation even worse.
So these are some of the concerns that we're facing down here at this lower end, and as we walk, we'll see how it got very close to some of the other properties down here that normally used to have a wide setback in excess of 45 meters beach width in front of them. But right now you'll see that the sargassum and a lot of the beach itself has contracted to maybe 15 to 20 meters in front. So we've lost in some areas more than 30 meters of beach, and in others between 15 to 20 meters of beach. So it's a sizable chunk of beach width that has been lost along the entire section of the East Coast.
The CZMU director demonstrated the extent of the erosion.
This is the best example that we have here now of how narrow this beach has actually gotten as we're approaching into lakes. And literally, the high water mark is at the base of the dune line. Okay, the sand dunes here are covered with the same sea grapes and the casuarinas, but it's being consistently eroded. You can see the casuarina has actually fallen into the dune interface with the beach right here. The overall level of the beach has fallen.
He explained why the situation needed to be addressed.
The seaside pusley is draped over the front of the slope of the dune, but these are like the concerns that we have now, because the overall beach has been narrowed to its bare minimum now, and the wave attack is consistently going to be at the base of the dune system all the time. As it runs along this narrowing stretch, heading up here into lakes, heading into Long Pond further along, you see that the activity on the dunes is going to lead to weakening of the dune system. So if the dunes do not have much actual vegetation on them, as in this case here, they will erode very easily and lead to some deposition of sand in the near shore. But that sand is going to be taken away and carried downstream with the wave action.
As Dr. Brewster pointed out, everything has a domino effect.
We're right here next to a watercourse as well, whereby the discharge of that water in this area would also be leading to the scouring of the dune line at its base as well when it's running out.
As Dr. Brewster noted, this state of affairs has also led to seaweed deposits frequently occurring, making the shoreline very unattractive.
This is the sort of narrowing that we have real concerns about. It is shocking, yes, but that's the reality. And as you can see, a lot of the sand has been replaced with sargassum here again. Even though you're getting a lot of nearshore wave activity, you're still seeing the sargassum being deposited in droves in this section alone. And as it builds up, it may lead to further lowering if it starts to erode from underneath. But right now, as it's piling up, it's acting as some sort of minimal defense under normal wave activity. But under high energy environments, this will be churned back up and taken back out to sea again.
Coastal officials also have significant concerns as it relates to the state of vegetation along the beaches.
As you're walking along here now, you can see that in essence the casuarinas have been significantly impacted and they're failing. Their rooting system was holding the sand in place, but look at the height of the dune that is now being cut down systematically by the successive wave attack. As it runs along here, this is close to about 7 feet or so in height. And you're starting to see the layering of sandstone at the lower depths. And further back there, you'll see the hardened sandstone towards the base of the dunes themselves. But what's happening is that as the trees have been exposed and their roots exposed for prolonged periods of time, they've literally died off now and they're toppling forward. And the height of the dune system is being maintained by them here. But as the waves attack the base, there's slumping of the face of the dune, as you're seeing, as it's trying to replenish. And it means it's falling further and further to the interior as it does that along the entire length of this section and other areas like it where the wave attack is at the base.
How does the level of erosion impact the sand dunes?
Dunes are, in essence, the first line of sand replenishment for beaches. And if the waves are breaking at the dunes, then it means that the time on the dunes is going to be even less than can be anticipated, because the vegetation holds the sand when it blows into the dunes and into the vegetation, and that causes the dunes to build out. But if the waves are attacking the dunes, then it means that sand will be consistently being removed from the area.
Now this has some serious implications for properties nestled along that section of coastline. And while the CZMU usually advises developers to make sure construction takes place far from the shoreline within the last 5 to 7 years, some property owners have been ignoring this advice and pushing the boundaries by coming as close to the shoreline as possible.
This area is starting to be a unique area in its own right, and once again, these properties in this area could be at greater risk from storm surge and coastal hazards in the near future, with the exposure especially of the beach rock and the loss of sand that used to cover the entire space.
And the result is plain for everyone to see.
What you're seeing now is that some of those properties that did push forward have really and truly put themselves at risk from the coastal hazards of storm surge into the near future as we see it. The concern has to be, how are you now going to have to address these matters? Because if and when they start to look to consider things like hard engineering in terms of placing revetments, this coast is going to go.
So how does the new integrated coastal zone management plan help with issues such as these?
Under the plan, the setbacks for the coastline remain the same. You must be a minimum of 30 meters or more from the high water mark. And on the East Coast, we've always tried to retain the concept that even though you have a 30-meter setback from high water mark, it has to be larger because of the type of wave energy environment that you're dealing with, where you know that at certain times of the year, especially in the winter season and during the hurricane season especially, you're going to get a lot of wave penetration. Because of the natural vegetative area as well, there's also a 200-meter landscape buffer that has also been incorporated into that, which was in existence from the 1998 plan.
He further explained how the plan ensures everyone complies.
Those two setbacks try to ensure that any form of development is pushed well back from the actual potential for wave attack and storm surge. We've been trying to insist on ensuring that those sort of setbacks are maintained and adhered to because of the environment that we're in.
Now, with all these changes taking place along the East Coast, officials at the CZMU are exploring all possible options to return stability to the area. Until then, they're simply urging everyone to stay safe.